Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the other side of the news. And this is where we look at pretty much the only newspaper I read is the Wall Street Journal. I find it, as objective as most as papers can be nowadays. I like its take, even if I don't agree all the time. In the past, some of my videos, I've read columns that really resonated with me and I really liked, but the reality is everybody complained about them, said I was too boring. So now what I'm going to try to do is every day I'm going to go over some of the headlines in the newspaper, make a few comments about them, move on, and try to do this every day. Try to get this uploaded at 6 p.m. Eastern time every day. So we'll take it from there. If you like it, please subscribe, and feel free to leave comments if you want me to do more or less of something or the other. Feel free to leave comments so I know what's going on. Thank you very much for your support. So let's get started. So this is from the Wall Street Journal, 30 June 2020, and actually I do have a subscription, but it's easier to do it on this page without me being signed in. So, looking up, we have Fauci warns of potential 100,000 virus cases a day. Well, we're running about 40,000 cases a day now, so that would be at a 2.5 times increase. That's probably going to be bad. But at the same time, this is virus, we all have to learn sort of to live with it and what we can do to keep ourselves safe. There's another article in the paper about wearing masks, and I certainly wear a mask when I go out. I see no upside not to wear a mask. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass and it's a bit uncomfortable. But the reality is, if it keeps me safe, for a few minutes longer, being around somebody or having the air that somebody is sick, why take the chance? So I look at it that it's, better safe than nothing. Now, this is a big article. This is a big issue. The Supreme Court strikes down the Montana ban on state aid to church schools. I think I'm all about it's good for children, and I don't care if your child gets educated, public school, private school, Catholic school, other religious schools, wherever. Parents have more choice, whether you're in Montana or New York or Virginia or Texas. The better off you are. If parents have some choice on where they can send the schools, the better off everybody is. And in the long run, even though the public schools will complain about it, this and that, and they whine about losing money, the reality is, kids need to be educated. Kids need to be able to get good educations. And if they have some competition, there's a lot of good private Catholic schools out there, reasonably priced, and with these vouchers that would allow parents to actually send their kids there, and especially in the inner city, especially for Black and minority kids, please. They need options. You go to any minority neighborhood in this country, and the parents know they're trapped in the public schools, and they want options. So being able to get vouchers and things like that would make a big difference. This is a big deal, and I think I hope it goes forward in other states, and I hope some places like especially in the Northeast that we start having real school options for all kids. But we got to do something, because right now what we're doing is kids are not getting an education. They're leaving high school with no skills. And what we're doing now has not been working. Let's do something else. Okay. Well, what we can say. Hong Kong activists disband. Okay. Well, that's because China's passed their new security law, and basically they're taking over Hong Kong. And so much for supposedly Britain got a guarantee from China that Hong Kong would have two systems. Well, you see how long that lasts. And the bottom line is the Chinese are bullies, and unless people stand up to them and countries stand up to them, they're going to do what they want, whether it's in Hong Kong or Taiwan or the South China Sea. So I hope the United States is up for it, because nobody else is stepping up to the plate. And, we need to support the countries around China who want to keep their independence. Oh, NSA differed. Okay, this is interesting. This is the problem when you keep on rolling through NSA directors and you become political. In other words, Trump, gets rid of people because they don't agree with them. And then, of course, now you have the NSA. Nobody's going to believe the NSA, because the NSA say, no, they didn't believe the CIA and others when it came to this Russian bounty thing. Well, I don't know. I find it hard to believe that, Trump wasn't told about this. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but the reality is a mess, and I don't like the fact that I don't like having our intelligence ages politicized the way they are, but I suppose it's the time we're living in nowadays. It says FDA to require proof a virus vaccine is effective before proving its use. I thought that came with the territory. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't want something that's not safe. We don't want something that doesn't work, because that can be actually worse than the disease itself. So, I mean, that actually makes sense. So the FDA needs to do its job like it's always done and make sure that whatever is out there is safe for all of us. New York City. Mayor de Blasio on Tuesday said he and the city council, well, first of all, the New York City Council is more ridiculous than de Blasio, has reached an agreement on the $88 billion budget for the upcoming fiscal year with $1 billion funding cut for the police. Well, yeah, of course, de Blasio. This is the problem with democratic cities and people who vote for Democrats. The reality is, Giuliani and Bloomberg made New York City safe for everybody, black, yellow, white, green, or whoever. Giuliani made the city safe. Police made New York City not only be the safest large city in America, but it had the safest minority neighborhoods, inner city neighborhoods in the entire country, safer than they'd ever been in 50 years. Blasio in his last 3 years is trying to unwind basically everything he can, whether it's police or education or whatever. And that's the problem. So now they're going to play with the budget. They're going to say they're going to cut the budget, do this, do that. But the reality is black Americans, white Americans, Asian Americans, African Americans, everybody Americans, we want to live in safe neighborhoods. And the police are who keep our neighborhoods safe. Let's not lose sight of the ball here. Let's just check out one opinion page, okay? Oh, let's look what we got on the opinion page. Why Cornell will reopen in the fall? Well, actually, I think in spite of the coronavirus, I think all schools, well, actually, there's two issues here. There's a thing about why Cornell will reopen in the fall. And then further down, we said, will unions let schools reopen? The reality is we need schools open. Distance learning thing is a bit of a sham. Anybody thinks their kids learning a lot through distance learning is, they have another thing coming, as my mother would say. I like that Cornell's going to open. The unions need to back off and let schools do their thing, and schools need to be open for our kids in the fall. Otherwise, we're going to have a disaster of monumental proportions. The woke capital targets free speech. Well, I don't know. Woke capital target. Well, they've been targeting free speech for a long time. So what else is new? Nice picture. Wow, nice sky. Look at that beautiful blue sky. Okay, colleges and universities in the U.S. face difficult choices in the coming weeks. Some have decided that closing their campuses and offering online classes is the safest option. For others, a safer and more responsible alternative may be to allow students to return while putting in place a comprehensive virus screening program that minimizes the risk of transmission. Contingent on New York State's approval, we will be opening Cornell for residential instruction this fall. Consider two scenarios. Let's see what these two scenarios are. Consider two scenarios. University A decides to reopen for the health and safety of students, faculty, and staff. It institutes a screening program to identify asymptomatic students infected with the novel coronavirus and prevent them from spreading it by repeated testing and isolation. The school also monitors symptoms daily, restricts group sizes, modifies classrooms and dorms, secures extensive quarantine capacity, restricts travel, and imposes requirements for masks and social distancing. That must be Cornell's plan. University B decides this is too risky and chooses to play it safe. The school doesn't reopen this fall and opts instead to teach all courses online. What a sham. Okay, that's my comment. It takes cautious steps to open for selected professional or graduate programs and research efforts, but doesn't implement the complex process of screening thousands of undergraduates and modifying the learning environment for social distancing. So that's the lazy way to do it. Yeah, okay. Surprisingly, it doesn't work. Surprisingly, etymological modeling done by a group led by Cornell professor Peter Fraser suggests that despite playing it safe, sometime during the fall, University B will experience markedly worse health outcomes in its community, while University A will have basically done better. Yeah, that's sort of obvious to anybody who really thinks about it. We need to get back to business, folks. No other way you can look at it here, I'm sorry to say. Let's see what else we got, but I think right now, I'm going to wrap this up now. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you watching. Please leave me comments. Please subscribe. Please like. Feel free to leave comments. I'll improve as we go on. This is a work in progress. Let's remember that, folks. A work in progress. Thank you very much. And until tomorrow.